have to wonder if anybody's there. Is anyone there?
Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me talking? Okay, so we're on a delay. Let me see if I could totally screw the pooch on this. And it looks like it's maybe 20 seconds. All right, so let me see if I could screw the pooch on this one. All right. So you got all your stuff? Yeah, at the last minute my tablet wouldn't stream Twitch. Or it wouldn't record Twitch. It wouldn't let me download the app because it's stupid. Okay, so for the first part, we're going to use a piece of paper and an eraser, pencil. Whoops, I knocked you over. It's because I'm all ghetto right now. Okay, ruler, paper, pencil, and an eraser. Just regular plain old paper. Let me see if I could change this around. There. Okay. No, just regular old paper. So, and I'm using this pencil. If you have like sketchy pencils, you can use sketchy pencils or just a regular pencil. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn about value. That's lights and darks of the same thing. So you're going to take your handy dandy ruler. Let me see if I can knock everything over while I do this. Your handy dandy ruler, and you're just going to make some boxes. You do a line there, we'll do a line here, and then we'll go across. We're going to make some boxes. Okay, one there, and one there. Big rectangle. And I think maybe we'll do 5 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because left-handed people rule the world. So yeah, just make 5 boxes. And I know the light's a little bright. I got like crackhead LEDs. That, and I'm in the mad scientist basement, so everything in here is blue. And that's basically all you needed the ruler for, is just to make straight lines. So your first value is going to be your lightest, and your last value is going to be your darkest. You follow me? So what we're going to do is, in number 1, take your pencil, and if you have to sharpen it, sharpen it. And you're just going to lightly shade that in. Can you see it? It's really light. Really light. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go to the second box, and we're going to lightly shade that one in too. Only now we're going to put a little bit more pressure so that it's about twice as dark as this first one. Just real quick, you don't have to, like get every little last corner, just So for the third one, we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to put normal pressure on it. Where you're not holding back, but you're not really pushing down, normal pressure. And then next, we're going to go to number 4. We're going to do our normal pressure. We're going to push down a little though. It doesn't have to be perfect. You could go over lines. And for number 5, we're going to push down a little more on this one. I will totally fix my camera problem next go around. There we go. And there's your values. So we go from the lightest one, darker, normal, a little darker, darkest. So one of the important things about value is, no, I'm not going to grade you. I have 2 viewers. Who's the second viewer? I don't even know how to do this. Where's Dunham when I need him? Oh, there we go. Oh, I guess I'm my own viewer. I don't know. So I'm not going to grade you on this, I promise. So generally what happens is when you look at a picture, when you look at any picture, you're going to notice that things that are closer to you tend to be darker. And things that are further away tend to be lighter. And you can see this in pictures that you've taken. The California coast is really good for that. And those are all different values, and we call that depth. And this is going to be really important for this. So, I don't know if you can see this, but whoop, see this picture here? The further back you go, the lighter things get. And the closer you get, the darker things get. That's value. So do you have somewhat of a normal understanding of value? Okay. We'll name this value and call it good. So now we're going to move over to, I'll put that over there, paper. So one of the things that you probably already realized was there's tons of watercolor paper out there. Tons. Like watercolor papers like Smurfs. There's Strathmore, there's Fabriano, there's tons of watercolor paper. If you give me a minute, I'm going to get the other one. Another one, watercolor paper. So, yeah, 300 million different watercolor papers. So, each one is different. There's hot press watercolor paper and there's cold press. So, hot press tends to be a smoother, flatter, more thirsty kind of paper. Cold press, not so much. And hot and cold press, that basically tells you what it is. Hot press, cold press, you know, etc. Basically what you have when you have paper is you have fiber and you have something called sizing, which is the glue that holds the fiber together. So when you're looking for a watercolor paper, you're going to find that you like one more than another. Generally, you have your student grade papers, which are going to be more sizing and less fiber. And they're cheaper. They're meant for students. They're meant for people who are learning, who are going to use a whole ton of them, trying to figure things out, and people who don't exactly have a whole lot of money to do this with. So they come in different weights, 140 pounds, 300 pounds, different sizes. I tend to like Fabriano paper. It's an Italian paper. It's a little pricey. And it'll show you here whenever you get the paper. Normally they'll tell you it's watercolor paper, cold press, 25% cotton, 140 pounds. That's how much the, I lost track of the word I was going to use. The unit, the ream weighs, the stack weighs. And then your size. Acid free is nice. It doesn't eat through your paints, doesn't eat through your colors, etc. For this one we're going to use, now Strathmore has a bunch of different varieties. And you can see these are rougher finishes. Your Fabriano, I could show you right now. If you could see the difference in the finishes, this one's going to have a rougher finish. This one has more fiber than this one. This one has more sizing. This one is more student grade. This one is more professional grade. For this, we're going to use this one. It's more of a student grade. It has a smoother finish. It's a cold press, 140 pound, and it's a longer sheet. So I'm just going to go ahead and rip that out. And put all 9,000 pads of paper away. What you're going to realize is, like I said, you're going to find a paper and you're going to use it. And you're going to like one more than the other. You're going to prefer one more than the other. And you know what? There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If everybody was supposed to use the same paper, then there'd only be one paper product out there. So this is where the tape and everything else comes in. Give me a second. I got something in the way of the camera because I had to like ghetto rig this. I literally have zip ties, like no joke. There we go. Dude, zip ties holding my phone onto a tripod. Oh, sure, no problem. So, like I said, for this next part, this is what you're going to need. Some kind of surface. You can even use your desktop or whatever. You need some kind of surface. Okay? You need your paper, your masking tape, your handy dandy ruler again. I know, I lied. You're going to need it again. Your pencil. So go ahead and grab those. And I'll give you a second. Okay, one more second. Oh, hey, if you want, send a link to Cassie, because she said something about she wanted to drop into. All right, so check it out. Ha ha ha. Gonna take your paper. Here, we'll use the tape after. You're gonna take your paper now, and you're gonna do the same boxes that we did before. Only, let me see. I made notes for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you're gonna make 6 boxes. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna draw the one line here. Then we'll draw another one over here. I really gotta work on this lighting. Then we'll do another one there. And they don't have to be perfect. They don't. Nothing in life is perfect. Okay, we'll divvy that up in the middle. Divide this into 3. And then we'll divvy this one up into 3 also. Okay. So there's your 6 boxes. And I know they're not even. That's okay. So now we're going to get the water. I have my jar here. This is the one I had in school. I still use it. It's got the little cage on the bottom so you can rinse off your colors. So go ahead and get your water if need be. We're also going to need a paper towel and your brushes and dun, da, 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 your paints. However you got the paints. You either got those paints or these paints right here. No, I have 6. I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 boxes, I swear. And if you have 5, well, just draw another one on the end. Well, divvy one in half. You're okay. So, I'm going to digress now. Here's the thing. these are watercolor paints. We're doing watercolors today. Your paints come in a couple of different varieties. They can come in the tube. Let me bring that light over here that I can never get open. I might need to get pliers someday, eventually. Ah, I got one open. Okay, so they can come in a tube, and when they come in the tube, they are moist. Can you see that? These tend to be more expensive, like you could see here. It was 16 and change, marked down to $10. This is from a company called M. Graham, and I really like them. They use some really nice products in their oil paints. Instead of using refined linseed oil, they use walnut oil, which was really nice because I get headaches from linseed oil. And with the walnut oil, I didn't get migraines every time I used them. So I tried their watercolors, and I found the colors to be really vibrant and really rich, and they went on very smooth. So I started using them. So you have your moist watercolors that come in tubes, and then you have your semi-moist, and I say semi-moist because they're not powders, they're, they're dried. This one is Jack Richardson semi-moist watercolors, and these come in these little pans, and you basically just add water. So the same thing with the student versus professional studio products is what you're going to find if you match this up to Crayola. The studio or professional materials, they use more pigment and less additives. Watercolors are basically honey, gum arabic, and pigment for the most part. When you look at M. Graham, they're going to have a lot of pigment in their colors compared to like Crayola. I've never really used the Jack Richardson ones. I've had this thing like forever, and I figured, well, no time like the present, huh? What you'll notice when you get one of these, yeah, moist. When you get one of these, is I want you to notice right here. You see this plastic right here? How it's divided into sections? This here is meant for you to mix your watercolors in. I know they teach you in school, you dip your brush in the water and you just smear it in there and you just paint on the paper. When you start painting with watercolors, what you do is you add more water or less water to change the strength of your paint. How opaque it is, how thick it is, etc. So that's a quick one on paints. The other thing is they also come in pencils, watercolor pencils. We'll go over that later. The other thing we're going to do is go over brushes. These are my brushes. I love these brushes. These are Raphael brushes. They're synthetic. Now, you're going to notice when you go to the store, there's a ton of brushes. Tons of brushes everywhere. Everywhere you go. Tons of brushes. Basically, unless you're a professional and, you're really comfortable with it and you're just die hard about it, I'd go with a synthetic brush. One thing that I do look for when I'm painting with watercolors is you want to use a soft brush. You don't want to use a bristle brush too much because it really just eats your paint. It eats away at your paint and it eats away at your paper also. You notice all these, they're kind of soft. You have those little brushes that you get with your set there, like the Crayola sets, and they're pretty harsh. And if you've tried to use them, you know they just like destroy the paint. They tear it apart. Princeton makes a really nice brush set. This is Princeton Select. They're synthetic bristles, and they're not very expensive. I mean, they can be, but generally, this brush I paid like $5 for. This one was about $3 or $4. I mean, they're not too expensive. Whereas you have, you know, the Raphael's, also a synthetic brush, but they're made with different kinds of bristles. This one I paid $14 for. Here's this one I paid like $8 for. It's different. Princeton sells their brushes in packs. Like if you have a Dick Blick or an Aaron Brothers, they sell them in packs, and these are the ones that come in the packs, and they're not bad. They're pretty good. They do take a beating, and they tend to wear out a little faster, but you know, if you take care of your stuff, it's going to last for a while. So let's get down to it. This right here, Jenny, move your light, Jenny. I know I had the light set up over there because my tablet was supposed to do this and hang from the ceiling, but it's not. This one is an oval mop. So a mop is going to hold more water and more color. And exactly like it says, a mop. This is an oval mop. It has that oval top. There we go. And then you're going to have wash brushes. It kind of looks like the mop, only it's meant to spread the pigment out a little more. So this one will tend to clump it up into a puddle, and this one will tend to spread it out more. And you can see the difference in the length. You have your flat brush, which, you know, it's got a flat edge, good for squares. And then you have a round brush, which is good for points and tips. And then you have your chiseled edge brush, which is really good for getting in those corners, for getting a line. And that's basically that part. So we're going to move on to the next part. Hey, Erica. Tara, this is my friend Erica. She went to school with me. She's recently been liberated. All right, so you ready for this? You need a paper towel. You're using watercolor. You're using